Hi, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of SoCal Prep Report. I'm Rick Estrella along with Bob Gibson, and yes, we did get the title right this week, and I'm very proud of that, Bob.
1 week in a row.
That's right. We are in the final stages of the CIF Southern Section playoffs. That's right. The finals are this week. And, Bob, it's a lot of football this week. And we got USC taking on Stanford on Friday night. And then you got half the CIF finals, which put like 6 games are on Friday, and then the other ones are on Saturday. And let's get into it now. Let's take a look at Division number 1. Bosco. We're going to start off with St. John Bosco over Centennial of Corona. Centennial of Corona is very good, but not without their QB. Their 6'8" flamethrower, Bob, number 1 quarterback in the country, did not play concussion protocol the week prior. And so there was some issues with Centennial.
Well, I had picked Bosco to win this football game straight up, but when you find out that Centennial's going to be without their starting signal caller, that just really put them behind the 8 ball.
He's 6'8", Bob.
You're not going to be able to beat this Bosco team. You know, this is not last year's Bosco team, but this is still a pretty damn good team right here, and you're just not going to beat this with what Centennial had. That's just a big blow to them. You know, psychologically even, just to think, hey, we don't have our top guy here. That's rough in any game, but against a Bosco team, you know, forget about it. Bosco took care of business here, and they are playing their best football of the season at this very moment. I talked about it last week. You want to be playing your best football right now at this moment, exactly where the Bosco Braves want to be. And Jason Negro is excited about where his team is right now.
I don't know if it's about their best football right now. I think that they were lucky.
Yeah.
QB from Centennial got knocked out the week before. Concussion protocol says he couldn't play. I think if he plays, this game's a toss-up. It's a coin flip.
Oh, I agree. I think it was going to be. You know, like I said, I picked Bosco to win the game. You know, I just thought they were trending in the right direction. But you know, it's tough. Imagine how those kids feel. Imagine how anybody on that Centennial sideline feels right now after knowing that they couldn't have all their horses in there to make a run at it.
And I think he was being penalized. He did like when he had his concussion, he did like a Russell Wilson concussion. He went the 10th, first second, turned around, did an about face, came back. Just kidding. I don't know what happened.
You know, he's trying to talk to coaching staff into getting back out there.
Yeah,
but,
I would too.
Good move by the coaches though, because we're talking about a kid here who's got many more years ahead of him. One football game is not the end all be all. So
modern day, Bob. Let's talk about your Monarchs now. You're with the network.
Yep.
Let's talk about it.
Well, what else is there to say? I mean, Mater Dei is 13-0. Not only are they perfect on the season, they are perfect on the season. I mean, they have not made many mistakes at all. I mean, just a handful of turnovers. You can't really find a bad set of plays out there. I mean, it's just silly the way they've just run over everybody on this schedule on the way to where they are right now. I don't see any way Bosco can hang for 4 quarters with Mater Dei.
Bob,
they can hang in small stretches. No way Bosco hangs for 4 quarters.
Bob,
Mater Dei probably wins this by 21 points.
Bob, I love this game. I only love it because, Mission Viejo lost, all right? Mater Dei beats Mission Viejo. Now, did you hear what I said? Mater Dei did not just beat Mission Viejo. They beat them up. They killed them. Wasn't even close. And I love the way Bob Johnson just threw a zinger at Bruce Rollinson at the end. It was in the paper. I'm not making this stuff up, man. It was printed already. But what did he tell them, Bob?
Coach Bob Johnson said afterwards he was disappointed, but I guess he could say it now. Mater Dei, the best team money can buy.
Oh, how could you say that, Bob? How could you say that? Well, all the recruiting wars, you lost recruiting wars is what he did, and he's been bitter about it.
Right. I think the bigger thing is that he's mad that the public schools have to play against the private schools when it comes to playing CIF playoff time.
That's right.
He doesn't like that. A year ago, they got to go down to Division II.
Right.
They won a CIF title.
Right.
This year, hey, back up to Division I.
The big
Sorry,
boys.
you got to face the #1 team in the entire nation. And Mission Viejo had a good year. Let's not kid ourselves here. But you weren't going to beat Mater Dei no matter what this year. But to go out in the way he did, just disappointing, I think, for everybody involved. I get it. There's a lot of emotion at the end. His very last football game as the head coach, not the way you want to leave the field, but
I love it.
Disappointing for it to end that way.
Oh no, not me, man. I'm enjoying every minute of this. You know what I mean?
For it to go out that way for Bob Johnson.
2 Orange County guys, and they're the top at their game. Both of Bob.
Probably the 2 top coaches right now. The 2 top winningest coaches in California right now.
They've both been at it a long time, man. And to throw that zinger, the best team money can buy. I just love that quote. I don't know if there's any validity to it or not. Probably a little bit, but it is what it is. Got Mater Dei in the finals against St. John Bosco. Now, last year, Mater Dei lost this game 42-28
Yes,
to the Braves. This year, I think it's going to be payback, just the way Bosco paid back Centennial and ran up the score on them. The way Centennial 3 years ago could have scored 100 on Bosco.
Absolutely.
So this thing ebbs and flows depending upon who's healthy at the end of the season.
This one, I'm going to say it's the exact opposite of last year. Mater Dei, 42-28 this year.
All right.
That's what I have.
Whatever, Bob. Could be the kiss of death. You know
So
how
I
you've
got
been
it.
this year.
Hey.
You've been picking all the losers this year.
I don't see any way Bosco can hang. They're a good football team, no doubt about it. But Mater Dei is a special football team this year. When I say special, I mean we have not seen a team like this in state history. This might be the best football team ever to take the field in the state of California.
And probably you can argue in the nation, too, because nobody stopped them. Nobody's even come close to beating Mater Dei this year. Their quarterback's got 3,600 yards. The running game, they got 3,600 yards. I mean, everybody's got 3,600 yards on that team.
It's silly how deep they are on both sides of the ball, top to bottom. All five offensive linemen have D1 offers. Where do you see that? Nobody else has that. Who has an offensive line where every lineman has a D1 offer in their hand? Come on.
Well, usually schools like Bosco and Mater Dei,
Well,
and, you know,
that's why these two
Santa
teams,
Margarita a few years back. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's
Bob.
why these two teams are.
It's unheralded. I agree with you on that.
It's crazy.
All right, let's go down to Division II now. Look real quick. We're gonna have to run through these. There's 13 divisions, plus we got all kinds of other stuff still.
Oh, yeah.
Oaks Christian, Valencia. It's a northern flavor, Bob. Going up the. Of course, Oaks Christian is in Los Angeles County, but it's the last city. It's
really
Westlake.
Yep.
And then Valencia, of course, is in Ventura. That's going to be a good ball game, Bob.
I love that Jim Bankert, you know, we kind of saw the Oaks Christian team kind of go down. They were so dominant for so long, kind of went down a little bit. It's been a few years since 2011 since Oaks Christian's been in the CIF final, but Coach Bankert gets his team back to the CIF finals. And I think this, of all the matchups, I like this one the most because I think this is truly a flip of the coin. I don't know what is going to happen in this game. All I know is there's two really good football teams that are from the same kind of general area up there, and I think you're going to see a lot of fireworks here.
Valencia, very balanced,
Valencia
Bob.
is so good.
They're known for their running game, but I'm going to tell you, they were strong in the passing game this year, and that's been their staple. So it's going to be an interesting game to see if Oaks Christian can neutralize them because nobody else has.
Nobody else has, no. And but you know, Oaks is the team. Oaks is the team that can maybe do it, and that's the key. You have to have that team that finally can say, you know what, we have the plan, we have the athletes that can make a difference out here. And maybe Oaks is the one that finally shuts down Valencia. Maybe.
All right. We'll see about that. Let's go to Division III now, have a quick look. And you better get me on the IFB because Bob took my rundown, man. I'm telling you right. You took it, Bob. Don't lie about it.
I'm not hearing it either. So
you were
Rancho
shuffling
Verde
my papers.
and St. Francis in this one. And you know, Rancho Verde is so good, you know, but they were the 4th seed this year in the bracket. A couple of losses.
St. Francis hasn't been in won a final since, I believe, '64, Bob.
Yeah,
it's been a few years.
Right, first time they've been to the
Before
finals.
you were born, Bob,
yeah,
I think.
Just a couple years.
But I was there.
First time they've been to a CIF final for St. Francis since you're right, 1964. So how much fun is it to see some of these schools, and we'll talk a little bit later. Catella's never been to a CIF final. Orange hasn't been there in a couple of years. Orange hasn't won since
couple of years?
1933. You want to start talking about years ago.
Yeah.
You're talking about great-grandparent type things there. So anyway, the Rancho Verde and St. Francis for the Division III championship. I think this is another fun game right here.
All right, let's take a look, take a trip now up to the high desert.
I love the high desert.
We got Carlos Peña, Mr. Soccer. He's going to be our soccer correspondent too. Well, let's go up to Carlos to the high desert and see what's going on out there.
Hello everybody and welcome to this week's SoCal Prep Report. I'm Carlos Peña and I'm bringing you football from the high desert. Tonight, playoffs as Silverado takes on Grace Brethren. First quarter action, Grace strikes first with a 7-yard handoff run to Seven McGee with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Point after would be good, 7-0 Grace. With less than a minute in the first quarter, Silverado's Latavian Staples runs it in, 7-7 all. Second quarter now, Seven McGee with a 21-yard touchdown run to take the lead, 14-7 Grace. With the ball on the 23-yard line, Silverado would fumble the ball, a costly error that would come back to haunt them. Under a minute left in the first half, and Grace extends their lead off the fumble recovery, 17-7 Grace. Third quarter action, and with 3 minutes left in the quarter, Levi Taylor connects with Greg Langster for 65 yards. Setting him up with a 3-point field goal, 17-10 Grace. 9 minutes left in the fourth, and Darius Allen ties it up, 17-17 all. Grace counters Silverado's play with a 55-yard run up the gut by Seven McGee, 24-17 Grace. Silverado, loving the challenge, strikes right back with this 49-yard pass from Levi Taylor to DeAndre Nolan, 24 all. 6.3 seconds left in the match, and Grace with a chance to win it all with a field goal. Not one to back down to make things easy, Silverado decides on icing the kicker, Kevin Aranda. Grace with a chance to close it out, and Silverado's strategy comes through. No good, we go into overtime. Grace with the ball first, and number 22, Lontrell Diggs, runs it in from 11 yards out. Point after is good by Kevin Aranda, 31-24 Grace. Silverado's turn, and they force their way into the end zone with this 1-yard run by DeAndre Nolan, 31-31. Second overtime, and Silverado starts off with the ball. Levi Taylor desperately looks for running room. As Silverado gains confidence, another miscommunication comes back to haunt them. Grace Brethren recovers. Grace Brethren smells blood and looks to close this chapter quickly with 3 quick plays. This final run from Lontrell Diggs from 1 yard out, 37-31. Touchdown, Grace moves on to the championship. Back to the Twins in the studio.
You call us twins, Bob? You believe that he called us twins? I just stole Bob's rundown. Bob, you took my rundown, man.
No. That was mine from the beginning.
All right. By the way, we're going to have Carlos Peña is going to be our soccer correspondent. We will cover soccer. Carlos will do it. Apparently, he's got a stud kid. I don't know. Everybody's a stud, right? Everybody's got a stud kid.
Apparently, he's
but
good.
Let's see a little shot of Carlos's kid here. Let's see this. Oh, way too long to set it up. This takes like an hour. Let's get the setup done, baby.
Ooh, look at that.
Not bad. Not bad.
Look at that.
That's when he was in the. He was 8 years old right there. Now here's when he's 12. And we'll get one more shot. But anyways, Carlos is going to be taking care of our stuff.
All right, good
Thank
enough.
you very much. Then we're going to the coach. All right, last shot right there. Bob, can you do that?
I like that. I every day. What do you mean?
Bob
Set it up
does
in here. I'll
every
do
day.
it.
Set it up, baby. All right, before we get to Division 4, you know, Bob and I were at the CIP Southern Section luncheon, and the San Diego Chargers were there, everybody. San Diego Chargers showed up, Bob.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. If you were there, you'd know. Tom Simmons is the media director. He's also an associate commissioner, and he gets up there and announces the general manager of the Los Angeles Chargers as the San Diego Chargers.
And then he went, oh, no.
And Tom says he's getting old. Tom, it's good you admitted that, my friend, because you are getting old, all right? But anyways, these candy bars are really good. Me and Bob had a couple of these things. We're going to now use them as a decoration here. Hope it looks good. So people see that. Yeah, we got these footballs here that are pretty good. We're going to start a league with these baby footballs right here.
I like that.
And it'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's move on. Division 4, Cajon and Downey. Oh, my Lord. This is Jack Williams' third trip to the final since he took over the helm at Downey High School. He's a Downey alum. And Bob, Cajon throws the heck out of the ball. Downey has just good team play, good camaraderie. This game is going to be wild. It's going to be very, very high-scoring affair.
Well, you think maybe Cajon would just be happy to be there. First time since 1987 that they've made it back to the finals. 1987, man, is, you know.
Hey, the Dodgers
I think
are back
Boy
to
George
the
had the number one record back
88,
then.
so it can't be that long, right, Bob? Come on.
Good point.
All right.
But Downey's so good. Downey's just, I just like what Downey's doing right now. I like the way they're playing out there right now. I like Downey in this one.
It's going to be interesting. It's just going to be tough. They got a wide receiver on that Cajon team that's got 1,800 yards receiving, Bob. Can you imagine that?
Well, they got a 2,000-yard rusher on that team, too.
Yeah, I mean, Downey's got their hands full, but they do play in that San Gabriel Valley League where every week you have your hands full. Let's go right now. We caught up with Jack Williams at the luncheon, and here's what Jack had to say about his team. We're talking with Jack Williams, the head coach at Downey High School, and Jack, you are going to your third CIF championship game. You got to feel good. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It does feel good just to see all the hard work the kids over the summer and January put into the program and buying in and giving up summers and morning practices and stuff like that. It feels good to see them be rewarded.
Did you feel you had a championship caliber team coming in this year?
I thought at the beginning coming in, I thought we did. I thought we had all the pieces, and then we took a Santa Margarita week. We got beat up, and then you kind of look down and like, oh, what did I do wrong? And then our guys have started every week has gotten better. I think the thing that we're here today is because of leadership. You know, the senior leadership. Guys have bought in. They've had multiple meetings, especially after that Paramount week, where it was a players-only meeting, and since then it's been practice has been totally different. The feel outside of football, guys like each other. We do a lot of things outside of football anyways, but like outside of football, guys like each other because of who they are. So
that's very key. The camaraderie you got to have with your team. You know, guys got to be hanging out, and they generally have to like each other. I find that's a big common denominator with championship teams.
Yes, you know, last year I thought we were pretty good. We had a lot of guys coming back, but I felt that we had great leadership, but we didn't. Guys didn't generally want to hang out. And so I thought this year coming in, I wanted to do a lot more things, you know, bowling nights, movie night. Right. And the rule is you can't talk about football. We're talking about everything else but football. And I thought, you know, I think that helped a lot this year, just with, you know, guys liking each other and guys believing in each other. And, you know, we have that thing of don't do my job. I'm going to trust that he's going to do his job. And I think our guys have started every week. It's gotten better and better.
Now, this week you got a real challenge, man. You got Cajon, and as we talked earlier, you mentioned they're one of the top passing teams in all of CIF. I think their quarterback at over 4,000, 4,500 yards passing this season. That prevents a challenge for you here in the finals.
Yeah, I think we got a work cut out for us. They're athletic. Their quarterback can throw the ball, deep ball. He has good accuracy. He can run the ball when the pocket breaks down. And they kind of keep you honest with running the ball here and there. And so we're looking forward to it. I think, you know, we're honored to be in this game. And so I think we'll prepare for it all week and kind of see how it goes on Saturday. Saturday.
Yep. Coach, congratulations once again. Great season. And congratulations, your third trip, man. Some guys never make it.
Appreciate it.
You're a young man. You got a long way to go.
All right, that's Jack Williams, head coach at Downey High School, again, making his third trip to the finals. Bob, he's only been a head coach over there, done it for maybe 7 or 8 years now.
I was going to say, what is he, 30 years old?
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't look that old at all. So, you know, he's got a lot of years ahead of him to get some more appearances in the finals there.
Yep, he's got the winning recipe right now. We'll see, though. Cajon, you know, they're tough. They're going to be tough. When you get to this point in time, it's anybody's game.
Well, they're all good. That's the
anybody's game. All right, Division 5. Let's take a look and see who we have there. Bob, it's your favorite team, Paraclete.
Paraclete.
It's Paraclete, but we call it Paraclete. Believe me, that's funny. If you were at this when this came down, you would know. But Paraclete's taking on Moore Park. I'm going to tell you, that's a huge mismatch because I think Moore Park, you know, they're a bigger division team than Paraclete. Paraclete's a small school. But it's a good matchup. Again, we're going up into the north.
It is. Moore Park's calling card is their defense. They are winning football games this year with their defense. Paraclete, it's all about the offense there. They're throwing the ball, they're running the ball, they're putting points on the board like crazy. They've outscored their opponents by over 300 points this year.
Better believe they have.
Moore Park has even given up 200 points on the season. What's going to give here? What is going to give?
Yep.
Can the Paraclete offense do it? Can the Moore Park defense do it? Your guess is as good as mine.
I don't know. It's just going to be a good game. Paraclete has a history of being towards the finals. They're always sniffing around. They're in it, 12-1.
Paraclete's always there.
They are. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Division 6 now. Taking a look. It's going to be Bishop Diego versus Golden Valley. This is Golden Valley's first run into the CIF championship game. It's their inaugural game, Bob. It's going to be interesting to see how they do.
That's so much fun when we talked about teams that haven't been there in a long time. Golden Valley's never been there.
They were the at-large team, Bob. They were the at-large team in Division 6.
Look at this. How many times do you see a team with 5 losses playing for a CIF title? It doesn't happen. But what did I tell you?
Yeah.
Playing your best football at the end of the year. Golden Valley fits that description to a T. Now, is this a big hill to climb? It absolutely is.
Better believe it is.
Bishop Diego is 12-1 on the season. They're going to be big favorites in this one, but that's what I love about it. You never know when the underdog is going to come up and take a bite out of the favorite.
You got it, Bob, and that's what's going to happen here.
I love this matchup.
Interesting game. That's what's good about the way they had done the pairings now. The way they've written them up. You know, you're playing out of your comfort zone. You're playing out of your area. You don't know what's going to happen. Some of these teams are traveling 1,000 miles to play one game, Bob.
8-5. I love seeing that.
I love that, don't you?
Golden Valley, if they claim a championship, how great would that be? A 9-5 champion.
All right, Bob, we're up against it. We need to go to the city section now. We're going to see Randy Rosenbloom, and Randy Rosenbloom has this update for us in the Los Angeles city section.
It is championship weekend in prep football in the city section. Well, how did the teams qualify for the finals? Let's start in the open division where Narbonne hammered Fairfax 71-0. The 3-time champions scored 36 points in the first quarter. They had a 65-0 lead at half. This means 9 titles in 10 years for this program. Jamar Jefferson, 6 carries, 181 yards, and 2 scores. He had a 90-yard touchdown run. They will play Crenshaw in the finals. The number 2 seeded Cougars over Carson 41-13. Isaiah Johnson throws 5 touchdown passes, 4 of them to 6'4" Rayshawn Williams, who is a tough matchup for anybody. So it's Narbonne and Crenshaw Friday night at El Camino College. Guess what? The winner of this game is going to win either their 4th or 7th title in 10 years. Narbonne's won 6 out of the last 9 crowns. They're trying to win 4 in a row in 6 out of 7. Robert Garrett is a great coach on the other side at Crenshaw. He's won 5 city titles. Manuel Douglas of Narbonne has won 7. All right, let's move ahead and talk about Division I, where Dorsey really coming on strong, knocks out Southgate in the semifinals 41-7. Dion Bascom, a 40-yard touchdown return, a pick 6. That's the 2nd week in a row he's had a pick 6. They'll play San Fernando, the number 1 seeded team in the tournament, who defeats Garfield 42-21. Trevor Gill has a 92-yard touchdown run in that one. San Fernando and Dorsey, Saturday night at 7 o'clock at El Camino College. In D2, Cleveland shocks Eagle Rock 55-54. The Eagles failed on a 2-point conversion, a bad snap, thus they lose it in overtime with the failed conversion by 1. Huntington Park qualifies with a 34-28 thrilling victory over Granada Hills. The Spartans, if you can believe it, trailed 28-0 at half, but Victor Molina came out and threw 3 touchdown passes, and Bajan Lee rushed for 152 yards and 2 scores. So it's Huntington Park in Cleveland at 3 o'clock at ECR. And also in Division III, Marshall with a great quarterback, Daniel Soto, defeats Locke 28-6. And for the 2nd time this year, Verdugo Hills runs by Monroe. Remember, they're in the same league, the East Valley League. This time it was 48-28. So it's Marshall and Verdugo at 11 a.m. for all the marbles in D3. In prep basketball, Westchester wins the Redondo Basketball Crown. Big victory over Santa Margarita, 64-49. Jordan Brinson had a great tournament. He scored 19 points in the final game, but he was the tournament MVP. In the 3rd place game, Narbonne was tripped up. They lost to Redondo, the host school, 69-67, despite 23 points from Kendall Fry. He is a fabulous guard, and Kendall Fry is one of the great players in the LA City section as we're just getting started with high school basketball. And another big note, El Camino Real's Justin Hazel wins the state Division I cross country title, and he becomes the first runner from the city section ever to win a state championship. But we're all excited. This is the weekend. I'm really excited about Crenshaw and Narbonne yet again. Got to lean toward the Gauchos. They're the favorite in the open division, but Crenshaw has a chance because they have so much physical talent, so much great speed, and that tough wide receiver in Rayshawn Williams. Now let's go back to the dynamic duo of Rich Estrella and Mr. Bob Gibson.
Thank you, Randy. And again, Bob, city section. Oh, man, one score was 71-0 out there.
It's 71-0, and then you've got what, Dorsey 7-6 this year, a
Yeah.
7-6 team
Yeah.
getting to the final. I love that.
It could help. It could happen.
I'll say it again, playing your best football at this time of year. Love it.
All right, Division 7. Let's take a look real quick and let's run through them. We got to get out of here, man. We got El Medina taking on Don Lugo. 2 teams that it's been a while since they've been to the finals, Bob.
El Medina since 1984 since they've been there.
Wow.
So El Medina, the
Don Lugo
Vanguards,
hasn't been there since the 70s, Bob.
And that's your guy Scott Trumbo right there. That's our buddy Scott Trumbo. That's his school, El Medina right there.
Your
So
boy.
good luck. Good
Yeah.
luck. Good luck to the Vanguards.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's continue on Division 8, and let's have a look. Who's in Division 8, Bob? Oh, it's Grace Brethren taking
Grace
on
Brethren,
Antelope
yeah.
Valley, AV, up in Palmdale, Lancaster area. 2 teams, 11-2. Antelope Valley's a very big high school, okay? This isn't a small school. Probably got about 3,000 kids in it. You got Grace Brethren, probably has about 300.
You want my prediction for this game?
Go ahead, Bob. Tell me about it.
Cold.
Okay, very good, Bob.
Cold.
Thank you very
It's
much.
going to be cold up there.
Okay.
You know it is.
Division 9, Aquinas taking on Burroughs. Again, small versus big. This is what I like about it. And, Bob, I'm not even going to try to predict or act like we know anything about Aquinas or Burroughs. All you have to know is they're playing in the finals in Division 9. It'll be interesting. All right, Bob, Dos Pueblos taking on Quartz Hill in Division 10. Again, you're going up. You got Lancaster, up in Palmdale, the Lancaster-Palmdale, going up against Dos Pueblos, which is a little bit further up the 101. And two 12-1 teams, this is what you like to see, the two best teams in the division playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Quartz Hill, Matthew Tago, the quarterback, almost 3,000 yards passing, 37 touchdowns. Big numbers through the air.
Catella and Fred De Palma taking on Covina and Joel Brown. These are two teams here in Orange County. They're pretty close geographically. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Catella, they're due. They are
Knights
due.
have never been in a CIF title. First time in school history.
All right, number 12, Big Bear. Our friends at Big Bear, we've been talking about them all season. They made it to the finals against Santa Maria.
Yes, they did.
And let me tell you something, Bob. Interesting group of kids. They're not the biggest group of kids, but they're in the finals. We caught up with Coach Dave Griffiths of Big Bear, and this is what he had to say.
All right, we're talking with the head coach at Big Bear High School, Coach Dave Griffith. And, Coach, congratulations on making it to the championship game.
Well, thank you, Brad. We're just thrilled to be here.
Is this the first title for Big Bear going up there?
No, we won in 2006 and in 1992 before that.
Okay, well, interesting this year is not just this year. Last year they changed the formats of the playoffs, so you're not just playing people in your region. Your first game may be 1,000 miles away up the street. and with Big Bear, you guys have been having to come down the hill. Coach, I got to ask you, how do you compete having such a small school? What's your school size, 700 or so?
That's correct, 700.
Okay, so you got a tiny school, but you're out here playing against the population centers. Let's just face it, Southern California is huge. It's wall-to-wall people, wall-to-wall high schools. How do you compete with the big guys?
I think, first of all, one, I have tremendous kids up there. Just they'll do anything that we ask, and that's a big key for us. But being disciplined, we have to be disciplined what we do, and also our schemes, I think, help us out.
Great, fantastic. So what do you know about your opponent this week? Every week, Bob over there, my co-host Bob Gibson, saying, I don't know, it doesn't look good for Big Bear this week. Doesn't look good for Big Bear this week. And every week you guys just tear it up. So tell us about your opponent this week.
Well, Santa Maria, another big school.
Right.
We faced Centennial last week, about a school of 3,000. I think Santa Maria's sitting around 2,500. But just a fun group to watch. They did a number on South El Monte, who was a good ball club last Friday. So very impressive, but really comes down to their quarterback, just a tremendous playmaker.
Talk about, real quick, just tell our fans, what's it like to play in Big? Did you guys have any snow yet? Do you ever have any snow during the season?
We do, actually, but this year, no.
Okay.
And so we were able to host 3 playoff games so far. We've got just the luck of the flip, and things like that. But it's a great setting. We don't have a stadium per se. We play at our old middle school, but we play during the days. We don't have lights, and I'll tell you what, it's just a beautiful setting. And to get the town to come out and things like that, it's what I always thought small town football would be. I grew up in Pasadena, played for Pasadena High School.
Right.
Our homecoming game
Big area, though.
Homecoming was in the Rose Bowl.
Right.
And so for me it's a lot. It's very different, but been blessed to be there for 19 years now, and it's just a tremendous place to play.
Well, congratulations once again on making it to the finals. We expect good stuff from you this week, Coach. Congrats once again.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Dave Griffith's a really good guy, Bob. Yeah. They have a task, man. It's not a big high school. They get off the ball well. They get off the ball quick, and they don't really run the Delaware wing tee. They run a hybrid of it.
No, I think the task is not on Big Bear's side because Big Bear's just been dominating people this year. I think Big Bear's the big favorite in this one.
All right, we'll have to see about that, Bob. In the last game, Silver Valley versus Orange. That's the number 13, Bob. Orange is your boys.
So, the Panthers. Somebody told me they had not been in the finals since 1933, but then
there's
some different information there. I like that story better.
All right.
I'm going with 1933. I like that story much better than 2005.
This is the age of fake news. Why should we be any different,
Hashtag fake news. I love it.
All right, throw up social media up there and let everybody know where we're at, where you can find us if you want to complain about Bob or anybody else on this show.
Facebook. Where am I going? Twitter.
It's opposite where you really want to go, Bob.
And way on the other side,
and only you would know all this stuff.
Is YouTube.
All right, get
That's
out this weekend.
Find us.
See a game. 10 of these games are going to be streamed live. Matter of fact, nationally on a few other services, sources, they're going to be doing games nationwide. All the games are going to be on TV.
Yep, they're all going to be on TV, radio. Some of them are going to be on radio. The Division I game will be on the radio as well. Look for everything.
All right, Bob. Camera girl, let's go.
You ready?
I'm ready. You set? Hey, I got her. Yes. She got hit. Thanks for joining us tonight for the SoCal Prep Report. On behalf of Bob Gibson, Randy Rosenbloom, and Carlos Peña, I'm Richard Stray saying so long from your friends here. Once again at the SoCal Prep Report. Good night.